What happens when you get into debt?
Get out now. Come back with a police officer. Mind your fingers.
And you can't.
I haven't got any money.
Or won't pay it back.
Get off on my property.
In this series, we meet the people who are losing their homes.
Hello, would you like to open the door?
I've got 24 hours to find somewhere else to go.
Their cars.
Can you pay this, yes or no?
I can't go with me now.
I'm not going to take your car.
And their possessions.
I can't afford to pay the rent, but £700 telly.
We meet the people who are owed money.
Just got taken advantage of, big time.
And the people whose job it is to collect it.
I don't want to touch that.
Don't panic.
Because when you can't pay, they'll take it away.
We'll start unplugging and get things wrapped up for transportation.
You pay me, and then I'll start.
Rent arrears are becoming the fastest growing debt problem in the UK, with the number of tenants forcibly evicted from their homes reaching a record high.
The eviction situation is turning into an avalanche of evictions. The teams that I supervise do 25 a week.
I think it's just going to get worse. It's just going to be an ongoing problem and get bigger.
Paul Bowhill, Steve Pinner and Ben Pinner are High Court enforcement agents. In this eviction special, we'll follow them as they carry out 4 very different repossessions. It's 8:30 a.m. and today they're in Guildford, Surrey, with a High Court writ to evict a tenant who hasn't paid his rent for 18 months. The landlord wants the tenant out and has warned the agents that he could be violent. The police are on hand, just in case.
Whoever's in the flat obviously doesn't want to move out. There has been some suggestion he might disapprove of our coming today, so we're going to wait and see.
But this is an eviction with a twist. The landlord is the tenant's mother.
Well, the windows are screwed shut.
Take it just...
It's always wise, knock on the door and
you need
step
to
to the side. If somebody in there with a shotgun, it'll come straight through the door.
When it's family involved, it's never easy. You would never want to think that you're going to have to take enforcement action against a close family member. It's probably not a very easy decision you have to make, and to be honest, it's not a situation that I'd like to be put in.
If he's not here, we'll repossess the place and then we'll see if we can find a contact telephone number for him.
Their writ allows the agents to enter the premises by force, if necessary.
Hello? Hello?
There's an alarm.
That's all right, he'll hear it, won't he? Hello? No, nobody. I would say he's gone to work.
Yeah.
Don't mind if I cut it off.
clock or an alarm?
It's an alarm clock.
The court papers are on the table. There might be an open phone bill somewhere. Hi, yeah. My name's Steve Pinner. I'm High Court enforcement. Just to let you know that we have a writ to repossess the property today.
Today? I'm free on the 25th.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's to do with the county court. The matter has been raised to the High Court, so we're now standing in your front room.
You're kidding me?
Why would I do that?
I've got to get my stuff out, mate.
OK, well, pop home and we'll have a chat.
I'm in London, so it'll take me an hour to get home.
We'll hang on for you. But don't be too long.
Thank you. All right, I'll be as quick as I can.
Good lad.
The tenant sounds cooperative. The police decide to withdraw.
Lovely, thank you very much.
All the best.
His mother had bought the flat specifically for him because he'd had a difficult upbringing. and only wanted £100 a week rent from him. Eventually he stopped paying the rent, but his mother was still paying the mortgage.
The tenant's mother is too upset to risk meeting her son. Her parents have arrived instead to collect new keys to the property.
There's obviously a background to this.
It's all come to the head. He hasn't paid rent for 18 months now. You know, she just cannot afford paying out on her own. She's a widow. She's paid insurance for him and all sorts of... We just pay out all the time. And he's just taken advantage of her, really.
Unbelievable.
She's had a hard life. She brought the 3 children up. But he's been troubled since he was a teenager.
She's crying down the phone, literally because of it. And she just didn't want to do it. But she had to.
He's very upset as well. We all are. But it just got to end.
Steve and Paul are worried that the tenant may react badly to seeing so many people. So they decide to leave Steve on his own.
He's going to go up and stuff. I'll look after the house.
I'll see you in a minute.
Bye.
A potentially difficult tenant is now on his way. Steve waits, alone.
This looks like it could be him.
Steve lets Paul and Ben know that the tenant has arrived.
Morning.
Good morning.
Right.
Okay.
Could you be a bit
I'll tell you what.
discreet with me?
Okay. Just let's get our bit sorted first. You've seen the county court warrant. It's on your table.
Yeah.
It went through the county.
Yeah, but why High Court's getting involved?
Well,
this is my mum. This is my mum's property, yeah? My mum's done this to me. My own mother.
Well, unfortunately, we don't know any of the background. We get your name, her name, and our piece of paper. So I understand your position that you're not.
She shouldn't even have my dad's name. Well, she hates me. She hates me because I remind her of him.
It's unfortunate. It's a family dispute. You know, you can fall out with your friends, so you know you can fall out with your family just as easy.
I was a recovering drug addict, yeah? My mum and me didn't get on because of that. Then she started filing for eviction. I said, fair enough, go ahead, because it will help me get in a place in the council, yeah? And then I said, I don't want that now. I want to start paying rent again. And she said, I don't want your money, I just want you out of the flat. She's chucking me out on the streets, you know what I mean? I'm not going on the streets, I've got somewhere to go, but it's as good as. She said, go and sleep in your van. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice, isn't it? My own mum saying, you'd go and sleep in your van, wouldn't you?
The tenant's mother told the team her son never offered to pay the rent owing, and that evicting him was her only choice. She denies she ever told him to live in a van.
Obviously, we don't know what we're liable to turn up to when we knock on someone's door.
No, of course.
Yeah. When the tenant turns up, we're normally in their property. First 5 minutes they come up, usually shouting and roaring, what are you doing in my house? You can't do this, do that. We try and explain to them in a quiet voice to enable us to get some dialogue between us. 9 times out of 10, after 5 minutes, we're talking quite civilly.
I haven't touched drugs for over a year. Over a year. I've got a good girlfriend, good life, you know what I mean?
But his rent arrears are only part of a much greater problem.
I'm in a lot of debt, to be honest, because of like, my teenage years. Because they throw money at you. Do you know what I mean? You turn 18, any 18-year-old kid, they go, there's a credit card, loans, do what you like. And I was just too immature to sort of handle it. Well, what do you expect? I didn't have a dad around, do you know what I mean? Did what I liked. Did what I... Do you know what I mean? Just had a laugh. My mum didn't like it. Before you know it, you're in 20 grand's worth of debt, like me.
He says that he's trying to pay back some of the money through an IVA, an individual voluntary arrangement.
When you've finished your packing, I have been involved in insolvency and IVAs for years. Yeah. I can probably give you the short version of a way forward.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours since the agents first arrived.
Screen side down? Up, I mean. Yeah. Not down.
And the tenant's van is now full.
Okay. Gently. Because the gentleman's getting as much as he can together. He's only got a very small van. Unfortunately, there's an arrangement's got to be made for someone to come back and collect the rest of his stuff.
Despite the initial warnings of potential trouble, the eviction has gone smoothly.
This is Paul's card, okay? Yep. So I'll put that with your other paperwork. Yeah, that's his mobile number on there. You know, if push comes to shove and you need to talk to us. Yeah.
When the claimant and the defendant are both family members, it makes our job a little bit more complicated. You'd like to think that families could resolve their situations out of court, but that doesn't happen.
Right, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm on.
Before you commit to any insolvency situations, get all this out of the way, get your head clear, and ring me. I'll always call you back, so you don't have to worry about paying for the call. I'll talk you through it. I've got 30 years' experience in dealing with that. All right. And if you want to get rid of your dog, ring me, because I'll have him. I'll have him. Take care.
Increasing housing costs are pushing more and more families into debt. Nearly 8,500 families with children were made homeless in England during the first quarter of 2014.
It's early afternoon, and Paul and Steve are on their way to Thornton Heath, South London, to carry out a complicated eviction.
This is another one of those with the rooms, isn't it?
Vertical.
Yeah.
3 up and 2 down.
A number of separate families live in the property, but the landlord wants to refurbish. He's been through the county court and given them notice to end their tenancies.
Oh!
Were you expecting us?
Some residents have already moved out, but 2 sets of tenants remain. Now the landlord has been to the High Court to have them evicted. Today.
The High Court enforcement agents, we have an eviction order for 3 rooms here, but yours is one of them.
Yeah.
So our procedure is that we allow you an hour to get your things together so that you have to move out. If you need to come back to get the rest of your stuff, you'll have to make an arrangement with the landlord. You have to leave today.
We spoke with the solicitor, which they said we need to give in 2 months.
Well, this is dated the 29th of September, and this is a High Court writ of possession. So whoever told you that either didn't know the truth or they were lying to you. Is anybody else likely to be here?
This
one?
I got it from the address.
I think we need to ring him, yeah.
Paul and Steve are anxious to find out if anyone else will be affected by the eviction today.
Do you have a partner there as well?
Yeah, it's my wife.
All right.
We have a letter for you as well.
Yeah.
Have you got children?
I got 2.
9 times out of 10, if it's a multi-occupancy house, there's always children involved. There was 2 little ones, and the lady was pregnant, expecting another. And it's so difficult because you still got to do your job.
You'd probably qualify for emergency housing from the council.
No, because we've got a problem with the immigration.
Is there a query over your immigration status?
Yeah, because I didn't do the English test, so I'm not allowed to work at the moment.
With 2 young children, Paul is concerned that this family may be at risk of being out on the streets with nowhere to go. They need to go to the council for help.
You need to get your stuff together within an hour. Have you got a car?
No.
How far away is the council office?
We need to get our stuff together now.
Only the emergency stuff to tide you over for a few days.
But we have a son.
We have a son coming from school, and then he's handicapped.
How are we going to
he's
tell
going to
him?
special school.
They have to bring him back here.
Yes.
I don't know where we're going to do.
Well, can one of you go down the council and the other one wait here for him to come back? What time do your children get back? 3 o'clock? 4?
They bring him 4:30.
It's now 2 o'clock. Paul knows that if they both wait in for their son, they won't make it to the council's housing office before it closes.
We need to start packing. One of you needs to go down to the council office. That's probably you, wouldn't it? You haven't got a social worker or anything?
No.
The landlord's agent turns up to check on the eviction.
I came here 2 months ago. I told you the situation. How long have you known you've been evicted? Almost 4 months now, you know. You got 2 options, yeah? Either you go move out voluntarily, or they have to kick you out.
No, I spoke with them because I got a handicapped boy as well.
I understand and I sympathise with your situation, but you've known for long enough. I just want to make one thing crystal clear to you guys, yeah? So it's all clear. This guy has known from the last 4 months.
No, it's okay. It's of no consequence.
He's not eligible for any government support or anything.
They would have to re-housing because...
Stop them what?
Pardon?
Stop them what?
Okay.
What are you saying about
They're not eligible for any support.
Okay.
So
They
what
will
is that?
have to house the children.
Fine. Okay, see ya.
What country are you from, mate?
Nigeria.
Nigeria?
Yeah.
What brought you over here then?
Sorry?
What were the circumstances that brought you over here?
To study.
To study. Another hole in the system. He's come here on a student visa, been here for 5 years. He's finished his courses, his visa's run out, and he's now appealing to stay. During the period of the appeal, he's not entitled to any financial support from the government. He's left now in the situation, he's got 2 young children, so the council have got an obligation to house the children and to pay for the children's roof over their head, but not for the mother or the father. But he doesn't seem to want to get his arse into gear and get down to the council office. He's just taken as read that the council will do nothing for him. He's known about this for months, but he's still here. So the landlord's come to the end of the road. He wants to do a refurb on the house. Sad, really, isn't it?
Paul tries contacting a charity for homeless people to see if they can help the family.
Housing Association and private sector tenants who are facing or threatened with eviction.
The second remaining tenant arrives to clear out his room.
The situation is,
2 months' notice.
the officer there's a High Court agent.
However, if you have a fixed
and we have a repossession order for your room.
However, your landlord cannot evict you personally. Only the court bailiff can do this.
Very cramped for a family. But they've got 2 little ones in room 3. 2 little ones. So yeah, it's not an ideal situation.
Press star to return to the information menu. Press 0. If you need additional
It's now 3:30. Paul's had no luck trying to find the family help from a homeless charity.
Sat listening to it for 10 minutes, and he just went back to the menu. Well, he's OK. Look, he's got a BMW.
Yes, he's fine.
The tenant with the BMW has somewhere else to go.
Paydays today. I even called a new landlord today, so I can move my stuff tonight. So,
where are you from originally?
Congo. But I was born in France.
Oh, right.
I'm French.
So you're actually entitled to be here and all the things that go with it?
I work. I'm a manager for a company.
Oh, right.
The family are not so fortunate. They have no home and nowhere to stay tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of sad for them because it seems like right now they don't have nowhere to go because it seems I can see the bailiff just changed all the locker, but they're still stuck in there. Yeah, hopefully they'll find some solution for them. Finger crossed.
The family now have just 1 hour left to go to the council's housing office before it closes. If they don't, they will be homeless tonight.
Yes, sir. You need to be at the council. That's the important thing now. Unless you've got somewhere to stay tonight.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. You said you gave me the number of those.
I've tried. It's a waste of time. It's just a telephone answering service.
Because you said you give us 3 hours. I'm just pleading, you know, because of my son is coming as well.
Yeah, okay. But we've got to be out by 5 o'clock. I've said, have you been in touch with the council? He said his wife's rung the council, but they don't want to know. But we know from previous experience, if they turn up on the doorstep with the paperwork, they'll have to do something for the kids. He doesn't know where he's going to stay tonight, but they've had 2.5 hours now to actually get their head around the problem, and they haven't, so there's only so much we can do. We've done everything we can. I was a bit disappointed with the response from the charity, but they must be overwhelmed as well.
It's now gone 4 o'clock. The family's son has returned from school. They are running out of time to get to the council before the housing office closes.
Can we still come back to pack our things later?
Not today, you can't, because I've got to go somewhere else. If you ring me
because we still have some...
No, I do understand.
The toys, everything
I
is still
understand.
upstairs. We've called the cab, actually.
Okay. All right. There's a taxi on its way for them. So they've obviously got somewhere to go.
Yeah, let's go.
I said, how have you been living now? What have you had as a means of support? And she said her church has supported her, but they didn't want to call them now, like in the emergency situation, because she felt it would be taking advantage of them.
Do you know where you're going to go tonight?
No, we just go to stay somewhere. We don't know yet.
You don't know where?
Yeah.
With a friend or family?
Maybe family. Couldn't get to the phone.
To your family?
Yeah, we couldn't get to there.
So where'd you go now?
We just go because they asked us to leave this place, so we can't stay there. Yeah.
So where is he going?
He's taking us to hospital.
Hospital?
Yeah.
For your son, or why the hospital?
No, just because at least we can stay there in the reception area till sometime.
You're going to wait in the waiting area at hospital until you get through to your friends?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, the hospital are not going to throw them out, are they? No way of living, though, is it? I would have taken them down to the council offices, but they've chosen not to. So we just fall into the category, if people can't help themselves, have we got the right to intervene? You know, we need a social worker on the team, really, don't we? to make our systems work. But we can't do that.
Finding somewhere affordable to live is getting harder and harder, according to new figures. Rents are rising faster than incomes, with an 8.2% hike across the UK in the last year.
Paul and Steve are on their way to evict a tenant in Coulsdon, Surrey. His lease has expired and the landlord has gone to the High Court to get him out. The problem is, this isn't the first time Paul and Steve have been here. Last time, the tenant refused to budge.
My agreement's for a year. So if we want to go to court, which I'd love to go to court...
You can go from here down to your solicitor and deal with all that, but you're going to be doing it from the other side of the door.
And worse still, there was a clerical error on the paperwork, which prevented the agents from repossessing the flat.
OK, withdraw. Withdraw, Steve.
Today, Paul and Steve are back, but they suspect that visit number 2 will be even more difficult, because they've been told the tenant has a history of mental illness and may be vulnerable.
If we turn up to an eviction and the tenant is showing immediate signs of distress, we will try to talk to them to assess the extent of their vulnerability. The man did show signs of stress, and we did make a judgment that he was genuinely a vulnerable person, that if he was pushed, he could become very violent. We tried to organise the police to be there, but they were delayed. We're now on our way regardless, so if war breaks out, they said they'll come.
The tenant has reached the end of his 6 months tenancy,
This one here.
but claims he has a 12-month agreement.
It's not the landlord, is it? There's a black guy in the doorway here.
Paul and Steve's writ entitles them to evict the tenant today, change the locks and hand the property back to its owner.
Phones?
Answer.
The agents have also asked family and friends for assistance.
It's all right, it's not you we're looking for.
One family friend, a church minister, is already there.
I'm not being disrespectful. Yeah, but at the same time,
He's trying to negotiate a peaceful exit, but the tenant is refusing him entry.
I'm a minister of religion. I'm trying to help this man. There's no point in talking when I'm talking to somebody, all right? And I need it for this guy. We've tried, but nobody will listen to us. And you know, I'm just here thinking, is this government going to wake up when he does something crazy?
Unfortunately, it is going to happen today. And we need to do it as peacefully and as calmly and as... it's going to be difficult, I know. OK, give us a few minutes.
Steve calls for police backup.
Yes, I wonder if you can. I placed a call this morning. Well, we've arrived at the property. The gentleman we're coming to see is very agitated. He has a religious minister with him, who is a family friend, and he tells us that he is very dangerous today. He's possibly psychotic, this guy, and I don't want to be at the wrong end of it.
First schools of thought when you go to a job and you feel through experience that there is a possibility that the tenant could be vulnerable, medication or whatever. So first thing is safety for yourselves and for them. You just don't know what can happen.
While they wait for the police, the church minister has been trying to reason with the tenant.
All I'm getting is abuse.
Yeah.
He's just slammed the door and he's carrying on. I've just called his mom. He's not in his right, man, and he needs help.
Is he on medication?
He's supposed to be under the psychiatrist, but I don't know if he's turning up for his appointment. I don't think he is, personally.
The tenant's mother now arrives.
My name's Steve.
Hi, Steve.
I called the police earlier because of your son's way he was last week. There is a very good possibility that they will take him out in handcuffs.
Otherwise, what would...
If he walks out, then that's great. I don't want to see him being dragged, kicking and scraping. No, we have to get him out today.
Can I speak to you?
Yes, yeah. Sorry.
The agents are hoping that the tenant's mother will be able to get through to her son.
I've got to listen for once. Listen to what you're saying.
a very real concern. He's just going to go off big time.
How many times have I listened to you?
I'm going to walk away from you now.
That's what you've done. That's what you have done.
We can't afford to underestimate the potential to this situation. He could assault his mother, he could hold her hostage. You know, it just could go horribly wrong.
I can't function like that.
But you're not listening. The point is that they're coming in now to take you out. We're trying to sort it out.
The minister and the tenant's mother's attempt to try and get him to leave hasn't worked. He maintains that he has a valid 12-month contract. He pursues them downstairs to continue the debate.
What is the basis for the eviction? So you're an owner, you're a bad boy tenant ownership. Ask him that question. You didn't want to ask him a simple question.
The court has given them instructions.
No, shut up. You don't know. What was the reason for the eviction?
We have a warrant from the High Court which gives us permission to repossess his property.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all we need to know.
So I've paid a rolling contract based on what choices have asked me for on that property.
Well,
why
did it go to court?
You asking the wrong person.
20 minutes later, the police finally arrive.
No, stop talking. Stop your talking. End of tenancy, yeah? So my agreement says 12 months. So how can it be the end of tenancy? Stop talking. The end of tenancy. No. Are you asking the tenant or should I shut my mouth? Is everyone going to talk for me or do you want to listen? Do you want to listen?
Well, maybe we have to listen to you at another location.
Okay, shut up.
When the police arrived, we explained the situation to him. They went up to see him, and unfortunately, everybody was getting to the end of their tether. Not nastily, but they was all becoming drained by the to and fro of the conversations.
Steve and the police make one last attempt to get the tenant to leave peacefully.
And the judge has decided that they have the legal right to have you out of the property and reclaim it.
Yeah, I get that. So there will be a court hearing.
There has been a court hearing.
Okay, so, and who attended?
The magistrate.
4 hours after the agent's arrival, the tenant finally agrees to leave.
It's all yours.
The tenant's mother is unable to cope with him back at home. He must now arrange to remove his belongings and find a place to live. The locks are being changed, but the tenant is clearly vulnerable and is now on his own. Steve realises that he needs some support.
I'm going to give you my phone number.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to hear.
Right, listen. If you stress me on the phone, I'm going... No, listen.
I don't stress you. You know I like you.
If you stress me on it, I'm going to block your number, and that'll be the end of it. Do you understand me?
Uncle Steve.
Do you understand me?
Yes. Remember they stole my phone?
I don't care. Do you understand me? I know you can sort this all out. You've got it in here to be able to do it. Take help, all right? Come on now, you're much better than this. Come on now. I know you're tired, but you need to do this for yourself. Not for anybody else. You just need to do this for yourself.
But look what I lost. I lost career house and homeless and got robbed. I'm supposed to be like a good person.
You are a good person. You can do this, all right? Just have a little bit of confidence. You need to sit in your car and get off to the council. If they got a problem, tell them to call me. OK? But you have to be out of here.
Take care, sir.
I will talk to you. I know that all too well.
This case for me was immensely draining. I said to the lads, I says, I don't know, whatever happens next, I need to go and have a cup of tea because I'm just absolutely shattered. I'm not medically trained. I can talk to people, but obviously my knowledge of what condition he had is next to nothing. So I can only talk him as a one-on-one adult and try and get the bits across to him. And it was really, really draining.
The Money Advice Trust has said the UK is in danger of falling into a rent debt crisis. The number of tenants falling behind with rent payments has more than doubled over the past 6 years.
It's just before 11 a.m. in Brixton, South London. High Court enforcement agents Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner have a High Court writ to evict a man from a flat which has been divided up into a number of separate rented rooms.
Knock, knock. Oh, stinks.
The flat has been sold and the new owner wants to refurbish. The tenant who they're evicting today has been fighting to stay and hasn't paid any rent for over a year.
Apparently he's been there for years. And by all accounts, he won't be happy, so we're just sticking around to make sure that everything goes okay.
It smells. That's the smell. There's a pile of socks down there.
All the other tenants have agreed to move out. Building work has started. The tenant's bathroom has already gone.
This was it, because the shower's unit's on the wall there. Ah, put it in the corner. Shower unit, slide round. Toilet was obviously there, and just stacked pipe out the back. As far as HSE are concerned, those doors should be closed.
It's a prime example of how the other half lives, this is. The problem that I see here is it's not, it doesn't comply with the regulations which apply to houses in multiple occupation. So they're having to do all this extra work now to make sure that they do. And then they can officially let it off as sort of 10 rooms and get £60 a room a week, at least.
An upstairs neighbour comes down to give his thoughts on why the tenant is fighting eviction.
He's got all sorts of claims and things, he thinks, because he's been here a year dragging things out and doing all sorts of stuff.
We're the ultimate force.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you like to talk to the residents?
Not particularly. Steve.
I just thought it was fair to let him know.
The neighbour has managed to get hold of the tenant who is being evicted.
Hello. My name is Paul Bowhill. I'm a High Court enforcement agent, and I have a writ of possession for these premises. That's all right. This warrant has now been. The eviction is complete, so there's no going back. But if you're on your way here, that's okay. See you when you get here. Thank you. Okay, bye. Bye.
Paul has agreed to wait 1 hour for the tenant to come and collect his belongings.
He said he's just been to the High Court and he's got this, that, and the other.
After a year of fighting to stay in his room, Steve and Paul think the tenant may react badly when he arrives.
Okay, my colleague here is a High Court enforcement agent.
Yes.
This is a High Court writ.
Yes.
We have repossessed your property now.
Yes, I understand that. I actually filing an application, against this eviction, which was filed on the 25th. If you spare me for a second, I'll come back to court and find out exactly what's going on with my application.
Is that with the county court?
Yes, that was on the county court.
This is the High Court.
Hello.
Yes. Could I possibly just make a phone call for a second? I was going to move my things out anyway because I cannot live in this mess, honestly.
Okay.
But I need at least some time just so I can gather someone to come and help me to
Okay, let me just... The property has now been repossessed, okay? The locks have been changed.
All right, sir.
If you need some stuff to get you over for a couple of days, that's not a problem. And then what we can do is make an arrangement. You can come back and collect the rest of your stuff. It's not a problem.
Yes, but I just need to take some of the things that I need right now.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Will you please come?
Yes, of course.
The tenant seems to have accepted that the room he's been fighting to stay in is now no longer his.
Yes, I need to unplug all this.
Yeah,
that's... Within an hour, all of this will be out, yeah? Basically.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'm just waiting for someone that's gonna get here. Yeah.
Unplug and pack. We're happy with that.
At the moment, as you can see, all my things are just being gone from out on the streets. The only thing I can count with is friends, and then probably just move into a friend's house at some point, or until I just settle somewhere else, find somewhere else, the right property or the right place. You just can't find somewhere else to live, it's not that easy.
It was just a room, possibly 12 foot by 8 foot, and that was his whole world. Whether it's a room, a flat or a house, at the end of the day, if he had a tenancy agreement, it's still a tenancy agreement. So should he fall foul, then yeah, the courts decide that he can't be there, and that's it.
You understand?
No, I haven't got a great deal of sympathy for landlords either. But would you like to live like this? In a little rabbit hutch like that hasn't got a window to the daylight, so it's got no ventilation, no nothing.
You're getting there?
Yes.
Well done. OK, what you need to do is you need to empty your stuff out of this room. You can put it there and wait with it. When your van comes, plonk it straight into your van.
Yes. I actually bought every single piece of furniture that's in this place, including washing machine, all the things of other rooms and stuff like that. But I just been forced to leave, so that's what I have to do.
So is your car on its way?
It should be on its way soon.
No.
It's just, this was very, sort of like very suddenly.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
You're all done there, are you now?
Yes.
OK, so if I turn the lights out and shut the door, that's the end of it. People come to London, supposedly golden streets. They think that this is where they're going to make it. And maybe they can't afford to live there. We do see it all the time.
See you. Good luck. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.